Hi, in this tutorial I'll try to explain how to use BlueARP in Reaper multi-track way, and I made this video because I had some complaints from Reaper users that the way it's described in the BlueARP manual doesn't work quite well for them. And I checked that, and there are really some issues, and we're gonna check what's wrong with that first method described in the manual, and then I'll show the better way. So let's move on. And in the manual it's said that first you have to add the synth of choice to a new track. It will be synth 1 in our case, with some simple super saw sound with a bit of delay. And to add BlueARP, it's simple, just click this input effects button and pick it from the list of plugins in your system. By the way, this is the older version, we don't need it, we need this one, BlueARP OMG Instruments. And it's already arpeggiating. To make it a bit more musical, we're gonna select program number 37, this one. So it works if you need just this kind of live playback. But now let's try to record something and see what happens. And you see it records the arpeggiated notes. If I play it back, we see that BlueARP doesn't even get the notes from the piano roll, because it already plays the arpeggiated notes that were pre-recorded when we hit the record before. And this way, this input effects, it really works either when you play it back live, like I'm doing right now, or at the moment of recording, and then it plays back the recorded stuff. So you can't change the pattern after you recorded it, you have to re-record it. If this is your way to go, this method will work fine for you, but I usually want to record the non-arpeggiated notes and then apply the arpeggiation afterwards when I play it back. So this is the second method, and let's move on to it. First we're gonna delete this MIDI clip, and then we're gonna remove BlueARP from our input chain. Press this input effects button again and press remove here in the bottom. It will remove BlueARP from the chain. Now we have no arpeggiation. And now let's add BlueARP as a new virtual instrument on a new track. Again, let's select this program number 37 right away. Nothing yet happens because we need to do the most important thing. Go to the synth 1 track here below in the mixer section and find this small button with color stripes, which is called Sends, Receives and Hardware Output Options. It will bring up this menu where we have in the Receives combo box to select BlueARP. So we're telling our synth 1 to receive notes from BlueARP. And we already have arpeggiation, but there is one problem. Non-arpeggiated notes go to the synth 1 as well, and to disable that we have to disarm synth 1 track, and now we have just the arpeggiation. And as an extra safety measure, you can disable recording and inputs via the right click menu here. So now even if I try to arm this track, nothing happens. So now we have our arpeggiated track, and let's see what happens when I'll try to record something. Sorry, not quite comfortable with Reaper because I'm an FL Studio guy, but anyway, we recorded our source MIDI clip. If I hit playback, we see that now BlueARP gets our notes from the piano roll, the exact thing we wanted. And even more, now I can switch my patterns while it plays back. Now let's add another pair of synth 1 and BlueARP for the bass track. And to avoid confusion, first let me rename these two tracks. This will be synth 1 number 1, and this will be BlueARP number 1, because now we're gonna add synth 1 number 2, another instance. Here I will select my simple bass sound And let's disarm BlueARP number 1 to hear the bass. This is our bass. This will be our synth 1 number 2 right away. And let's add BlueARP as a new instrument track. Let's pick up some program for the bass. It will be simple bass program 78. We're gonna repeat the same tricks. So for synth 1 number 2, in the routing section, add receive from BlueARP number 2. I didn't yet rename it, sorry. This should be our BlueARP number 2. Yeah. And here in the synth, yeah, here we have receive from track BlueARP number 2. And repeat the same trick, so disable recording, input, and disarm it. So now we have our bass track arpeggiated, and one thing I want to tweak is make it an octave lower here, octave transposition, -1. Now if I disarm BlueARP number 1, I have both of them. I can play live. So you hear both of them are sounding right now. Yeah. And the final thing I want to do, because the simple way, of course, is to copy this MIDI clip to all of the BlueARP tracks. But the way I usually do it in FL Studio is I have the master track, which holds this master kind of MIDI sequence. And let's insert the new track. Let's move it to the top and call this one master. Master. Or master MIDI, the way you like. This will hold our master MIDI sequence. And let's move our master MIDI track here, remove it from elsewhere, and disarm all the tracks and arm just the master track. And now the same trick, but for BlueARPs. So we tell BlueARPs, both number 1 and number 2, to receive MIDI from the master track. This way. And the same with BlueARP number 2. So the way we have it now is master MIDI feeds both BlueARP number 1 and number 2, and BlueARP feeds synth 1 in pairs. BlueARP number 1 feeds synth 1 and BlueARP number 2 feeds synth 2. So this is our MIDI routing for this project. And let's hit playback now. So now we have it from the master track, and the same if I play it live. Sorry, it doesn't work because I have to change it here. So record MIDI input, like overdub, and input MIDI. I need to tell it that I want it to get MIDI input, not the audio one. And now, for example, I can replace my master MIDI track with the one I pre-recorded earlier. Like insert MIDI file, and I have the MIDI file here, simple chords. This one. Just shorten it a bit. Oh, sorry. I want it to be exactly 4 bars long. And let's play it back. And last but not least, one thing to make it a bit more convenient. We can add track groups. So on the synth track, click this little button here, which will bring all the other tracks under this group. But we need just BlueARP number 1. So click this one until you move out the next track out of the group, and repeat the same sequence here. So now we can group them this way, and we have all the settings available and kind of just a better structure. That's it. This is how you use BlueARP and Reaper. Thanks for watching. Have fun with BlueARP and see you next time.